Okay, the next one we're looking at is a type of query that is very similar to a pivot table. Now, if you remember what we did in Excel, in pivot tables, we could specify column headings and we could specify row labels, so that we basically have an intersection where we have a summary. Okay, and we can do the same thing with access. Now, if I have a look here and I want to work out per gender how many people are attending, I could do that with a regular query. Let me just quickly show you what that would look like. So gender and attending, and I'll count something like surname. Okay, then I will switch on my totals in my design view, and I'll group the gender, I'll group the attending, and I'll count the surname. And that's what it looks like then. But then I have 2 entries for females and I have 2 entries for male. And attending, the tick means yes, the blank means no, hey? And then I have my count of surname. Now, basically what a crosstab query does is it just summarizes this by putting the gender and the attending, one in a column and one in a row label. Let's look at how this looks different. So I'm going to choose Query Wizard this time, very important. And I'm going to choose a crosstab query. So not a simple query, a crosstab query. Now the crosstab query, it's extremely important to visualize what you want beforehand. Okay? I'm going to use that one table. And it asks me which fields values do you want as row headings. So for row headings, I can select up to 3 fields. I'm just going to use gender. Okay? I'm not going to use anything else, just gender. So that's going to come on the left-hand side as row headings. Next, which fields values do you want as column headings? And now this, I can only choose one. I want attending. Right? Now I need to choose what function do I actually want to be done at the intersection of these 2 fields, and on which field I want it done. So I'm going to do the same thing. I just want to count the surnames. I'm going to say next, leave it at the name crosstab, and it does the same thing. The only difference is -1 means yes and 0 means no. Everyone who's done access will know that by now. 0 is no, -1 is yes. So that's what it actually looks, that's how it looks different. So it actually shows me the gender as row labels, and it puts the 2 different answers of attending as my 2 column headings, and it also gives me a total. So let's compare these 2. This is what this one looks like. It actually repeats the gender for me, attending and not attending, with a count. Whereas here, it actually spreads it out, and especially if I'm doing a big comparison, if I'm doing a large comparison, it will actually look a bit better. All right, I want you to practice this, please. Most of these questions, you'll see one can do in other ways. You don't necessarily need a crosstab, but a crosstab query, especially if you get the hang of it, it can be easier. So I want you to please do C1, C3, and then C6 again. We've already done C6 another way, but now I want you to do C6 again. So actually use the query that you have and see, or not use the query that you have because you'll have to recreate it, and see if you can make that into a crosstab query.